Hey, what's up, Dean Super Performance? We are at the shop. Got a hoodie on. It's a little chilly today. Really nice out. But juniors, JRs, 34, got a lot done. So I got the fitting for the fuel pressure gauge. I did probe the fuel pump and it built about 40 pounds of pressure. Again, these Phytech units, it's weird. You can go online and it'll say the 2-barrel system is 43 and a half and the 4-barrel system is 58. But they're self-regulated on the other side here. That piece right there is the regulator. So it does not say it on the regulator, but that red mark means something. So I emailed them to find out, is it supposed to be 43 or 58? I did notice the pressure comes up really slow, which just could be like I didn't really have a ground. So I'm not really gonna focus on that right now, because I do have another pump coming. But I want to get everything done as far as the wiring, which I got a ton done. I still cannot figure out exactly if I have to have both those lines to the alternator. There's so much right and wrong and mismatched information online. It's crazy to me. I did look yesterday. This alternator is a 1G alternator, and it has a field, a stator, and battery. And this terminal up here is battery, this is field, and the stator terminal, which is this gray wire here, I don't know if you could see, no, you can't see it, but it goes across the alternator, and that post is so close to the block, it's not even funny. You can see it right there. Let's see if I can get in there. Nope. Dang it. Right there. You can kind of see it right there. That post there is like almost on the block. It's crazy. It's a little scary, but it's working. You know, I can't really go too far, but the orange wire is actually now the purple wire. I cut off that bad end right there, crimped it so it runs down underneath, and then I put a big long piece of heat sleeve and it goes to the starter solenoid right there. I cut out all the relays. One is for the transmission fan and one is for the fuel pump. No, one is for the transmission fan. I don't remember now. Oh, one was for this fan. I thought there was a third one, but maybe not. But I got the Phytech harness sitting over here. I got the water temp hooked up. I got the distributor hooked up to the coil. And coil positive there, and then this is the Phytech wire that goes to the coil positive. Tie it in here so it's not piles of loops on top of the coil. That's all done. Water temp's done. The grounds, I made up the ground post, and these are the posts that I like to use on batteries. So I used his ground wire, try and save a couple dollars here and there, and I'm gonna put a heat sleeve on this to kind of clean it up a little bit. And I put a new lug on the back. I also sanded the back of the head. I borrowed the neighbor's little belt sander, a little Milwaukee belt sander. Sanded the back of the head, put a bolt, and I doubled that ground. So it comes up to the battery, and then it's also this one here, so that when I get those terminal blocks, I can put that to one of those terminal blocks. and those are both off the head. Then the 2 grounds from here, which they both go to the same screw. One goes inside, one goes to the back of the head, and then the other one that comes out of the car is that Romex kind of looking one right there. That goes to the back of the head. So now everything is grounded basically directly to the battery. Something I did kind of realize with Phytech units is that there's no ground wire for a Phytech unit, which is very strange that they're solely relying on this throttle body as the ground, the housing of it. So you have a gasket, so it's not metal to metal. You have the nut, the washer, another lock washer, you know, on the stud, into the intake bolt, to the head, all gaskets. So, like we did with every one of them, I'm going to make another ground off the back stud and go down to the cylinder head, and hopefully that'll alleviate any kind of issues with any kind of grounding stuff. They did email me back. I did end up getting the software. I can't get the software on my good laptop that I always tune with, so I had to break out the old school laptop, and it loaded right on. So it's up and running on that laptop. So I'll be able to plug into the handheld and do it through their software. Hopefully. I've never successfully done it through their software. It always fails, but we're gonna give it a shot. This red with the white stripe, I did find all the way in the back, and it does kind of go to taillights. I'll have to look more at that. It's weird to me. This hole was actually for the hood release. I forgot he told me that, which has another one over here. I got the dashboard all put back together, the headlight switch back in it. Still trying to sort out these wires. So then what I did, I'm like all over the place today. Came over here and I pulled the fuse box down because it does have door locks. It does have cigarette lighter, backup cruise, and you know, has all your standard wires. It's an easy wiring harness, so easy enough for me to look up. Get it? But I should be able to use door lock as a battery feed if I need a battery feed, and backup and cruise should be an ignition feed that I could use for the Phytech. And then, so I popped this down. It was held with a zip tie. I popped this down, and lo and behold, all the fuses were in it. Here's the 2 fuses I took out of it for door lock and backup and cruise. And then you flip it over and look at that. There's one green wire right there that's cut. That's actually the radio fuse. There's a yellow wire that's cut, door locks. And then that green with the pink is the backup and cruise, which I don't know why they removed the backup lights. Like, maybe it doesn't have any. So I'm hoping that the backup and cruise is ignition. There's not enough wire for, I mean, there is enough wire for me to strip and crimp and do all that. And I might do that. I might feed 2 off of that, because that was a 10 amp fuse. Yeah, that was a 10 amp fuse in there. So I should have no issue feeding the Phytech. Yeah, the other one was going to be, I was going to use electric fan. That wire's actually the one on the field for the alternator. So that's how they're feeding 12 volts out to the field. I don't know if that's right, wrong. I have to figure that out. But I was gonna use that one to feed the relays, but it's running to the alternator. So I might still be able to use it. I don't know. Then fuel pump is another one. That should be key on. So I just have to go in and see if I can find these wires and see what they're using them for. So like here's fuel pump right here. It's a big yellow wire, and it also has a little red wire going off. So I don't know where it goes. It looks like it goes over here. Rear turn. That might not be it. Key on power? No. Door power? Window power. Oh, yeah, that's that weird one. So yeah, I just gotta find them. I gotta trace through, find them, see where they're going. And I cannot get enough wires. Like, it's crazy. But I am noticing a bunch of these wires that are just cut. That's radio stuff, but like this, who knows what that's for? It's just cut and dangling. This ground here was the other one that was just dangling. Like, just weird ways of maybe people messing with stuff and just too lazy to undo something. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I mean, in reality, this, you could take that nut off, take off 37 wires, put them all back on, put the nut back on, you'd be good to go. So I will sort through everything. I believe the distribution box got delivered today. So I'll be able to bring those down tomorrow, get those on, and start wiring the positive stuff. I got to get some more. I got 2 more cable lugs. That's all I got for a positive wire. And then I got some of the smaller ones, which I could use. So I just got to make sure everything's right. Then I got some of this heat sleeve, like this fiberglass stuff. I don't know. I'm going to cut a piece off and put a torch on it and see if it actually works. And that'll be probably for the positive battery cable, which I'm going to make out of, I think this is 2 gauge, 0 gauge, black, so it's a little bit cleaner. And then I'll put a red heat sleeve on it, one of those red heat sleeves, so that you kind of know red and black. But that'll have that black heat sleeve on half of it anyways. So maybe, hopefully, tomorrow I'm going to try and get it on the lift again. I couldn't get it on the lift the other day. The arms didn't reach far enough out. But I'm going to try and get it on the lift, trace that red with a white wire. I got to pull the fuel pump wire back, the transmission fan wire, feed them up this side of the frame, because I'm going to mount the relays on this side for those 2 pieces. Figure out what that red with white is. It comes off the brake switch and it does go to the back, but then there's, like, it's weird. Like, this is pretty wild to me. If that's a brake switch, that feeds a positive wire out. And then I saw that black wire hanging down, but then when you look, it's actually crimped to a red with a white and like a green or something. It's weird. It's like 2 tiny wires inside of this. So I don't know what they were feeding, but you just left it. So if that is feeding 12 volts, which if you look under here, You see that red with a white wire coming back, and then it does all kinds of weird stuff over here. It goes over somewhere right here to this red. So it's crimped to a red that then loops around a bunch. Like, look at all the red just looped everywhere. It's freaking wild. Oh, another black one with no connection on it. And then this is just tied into that, which then goes out. So this is the other one here that's tied into this yellow. So it's tied into a turn signal. I don't know why. I have no idea. So I'm not sure what they did, because there should be a brown right there. That brown should be parking lights, and then I believe brake lights would power through both turn signals. So I don't know why you would need this red with a white stripe. See, I gotta cut all this apart and see what the hell they did. Because it's going to this little, that's a third brake light. It's got 3 wires. Like, even the black goes to a red? What the? Yeah, the black goes to a red. Tell me that, you know, fucking people. Oh, then the red goes out there. So this must be like a little module or something. Yeah, because there's nothing there. So that's some kind of module for the third brake light that goes out there. Red, white, and black. The red goes over here to green. The green goes across to over there, which looks like it goes to ground. What the? Green with a white. That runs across the ground. Holy shit, what did they do? Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this apart and see what's going on here. It seems like you should just tie that little box right off of this. Like, the red and the white would be parking and brake light. Maybe? I mean, unless that's just a brake light? I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty weird to me. Yeah. No idea. White, red. Yeah, so the red with a white is coming here to this red on the module. Yes, nothing makes sense. Because if that goes to the module, then where do the other 3 wires come from? Black from the module goes to this red. This red then goes out. Oh, so maybe one side's input, one side's output? like a red and a black. That doesn't seem right. It seems like you should have the white one. Should be the output. And you've got the white tied to this green, and that goes to both this module and the brake light. I have no idea. Holy crap. Yeah, some kind of LED brake light. I'll have to look it up and see if I can find that. I don't see a name on it, which sucks. Yeah. There's some kind of weird switches. If anybody knows, 90655-0910. If anybody knows what that is or how to wire it, please tell me. But yeah, so cruising along. Should have it back up and running tomorrow, hopefully. And the only things that would slow it down or stop it would be bad fuel pump. Which, again, I have one coming. It'll be here today. It's an in-tank pump rather than an inline pump. That inline pump, horribly mounted. Yeah, it's right there. And then the fuel filter hangs. So, and those pumps do not like to act like lift pumps. And that's what that one's trying to do. It goes to the top of the tank and down the pickup tube. So they don't like to do that, and that could be why it takes time for it to build pressure. So I would much rather prefer doing an in-tank pump. It just sucks that I can't drop or can't really get the lift to come under the truck. I have to flip the truck around, I think, and drive it onto the lift. The frame is just very, very skinny on this. So, but yeah, so that's kind of it for today. I'm headed home to go order a whole bunch of turbo parts and stuff for 2020, I believe it is, Camaro. I think it's a 2020 Camaro. But he wants a nice little, like, 650 horse. So we're going to do turbo kit, converter, and a whole bunch of stuff to that. So cam kit, full cam kit, but that'll be cool. So as soon as those parts start coming, we'll arrange for him to bring the car and probably do the same thing. We'll drop it down. The red Camaro, wrecked the front end. That sucks. But I had a valve cover gasket leak and a spark plug wire that fell off. So the car stalled and he drove into a pole slow. So it wrecked the whole bottom of the bumper. And then the Ranger's got to come back because supposedly the fan's not working. But it's weird to me that it was working and not working. So we'll have to take a look at that and see what happened. But other than that, that's about it. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos, leave me a comment, and as always, have a good day.